So today, 7th December, a military coup happened in Niger Republic, and it was not successful. And I feel very pained because I would have loved that coup to be a successful one, so that it will act as a check, to these excesses we have in West African countries. And one analyst, or political analyst, was speaking on Al Jazeera. His name is Adama Gaye from Ghana. He said that in West Africa, what we have is a pretentious democracy. That is, we pretend to be practicing democracy, but we do not really have democracy. As a result of that, we see these people who come to perpetuate themselves in power indefinitely or through other means. Look at what is happening in Nigeria, for instance. Now, Wike, the king of all deceivers, the man who wants to be a minister and the governor at the same time, has done everything to, to make that man, Fubara, look, like a woman. And now we see that in the State House of Assembly, the vote defected, and Fubara is just there. Fubara came and said that if not for the God and for the president, Tinubu, that he would have been removed as governor, because of course that's what they wanted to do. And of course the only reason why it could have happened was because the president gave Wike unnecessary powers. If just imagine that Fubara was in the ruling party, Wike would not have power to do what he was going to do, even though in the same party. But because Fubara was in opposition party, Tinubu felt that, well, a win for Wike will be a win for APC and for him to take over the state, and then that happened. So in the first place, Tinubu, to me, was responsible for what happened to Fubara, but he was the one that ultimately rescued Fubara. And it's all these kind of excesses you find in West African countries that are making all these military leaders take over power. Look at Wike telling the military officer the other day to shut up, you're a fool, and all of that. Imagine if that guy now, and the same person who carried out this coup is a lieutenant colonel. This lieutenant colonel, is the one who carried out this coup, and he was supposed to take over, Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri, who was supposed to take over, to lead a committee. After, when there's a military coup, there is usually in Nigeria, they call it Provisional Ruling Council. So they have a military committee that will take over the administration of the affairs of the country. And so he was supposed to be the head. Just imagine, not a major, not a general, not a major general, just a lieutenant colonel. And that is the same rank, of the person that Wike was calling you are a fool. So that kind of person can lead a coup and mess Wike up. So we all know that Talon Patrice is the current president of Niger, and he has dropped out of the re-election bid, but we all know that he was supposed to install a minister, his current finance minister. Why is it his finance minister? Because now they steal money together. So he would have installed that guy, and that guy will cover his crime in stealing and everything, and then guy will continue. So in the end, what we have basically in West Africa is we do not have democracy in West Africa. Politicians mismanage democracy and perpetrate inequality through election rigging, through injustice, through stealing, through corruption. And the other time they said Nigeria is fantastically corrupt. Look at it now. This Boris Johnson said that Nigeria is exporting talent and importing whiskey. Wike is the king of all Ogogoro people, because this man will drink Ogogoro morning, afternoon, and night, and he will come on TV and be talking nonsense. And those are the kind of people we have in power. And so, do you think that these military people are not tired of it? Look at the way this man was even speaking at the National Assembly. The former General Musa, the former Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, what he was saying, the way that the rhetorics, he said that Nigeria, that the only way you can fight insecurity in Nigeria is through, justice, through elimination of poverty. That the crimes of the things that are responsible for insecurity are, bad governance, injustice, inequality, poverty. So imagine that kind of person now, if he had opportunity, maybe, who knows? Do you think they would not have even tempted me before to say, let's carry out coup and take out all of these corrupt politicians? So, but in the end, these people, when they were, doing their broadcast, they said that, that the people of Niger are suffering, then there's corruption, that these politicians are not sincere people, and that, there is high-handedness. And now we all know that this same clown, this Talon Patrice, has eliminated the opposition leaders who would have been able to take over power from him, the top ones, and he has left the ordinary ones that cannot win elections. So what do you think that kind of thing will happen? So the military coup, will continue to be a reality in West Africa as long as things like this are happening. Look at it. Look at South Africa and the way things are going. Look at North Africa. You know, even the other time now, in this Arab uprising, how did it start? Somebody in Nigeria poured water on himself and lit himself up, and he got burnt, and then before you knew it, there was revolution all over the country, and it spread into neighboring countries, and eventually it got to Libya. Libya even better than Nigeria economically and otherwise. And in West Africa, we just have clueless leaders who come there through jago, through power, through brute force, through rigging, and they perpetrate themselves there. Look at what Tinubu is doing now. Tinubu has forgotten that PDP allowed APC to thrive. Now Tinubu is gradually killing opposition party and killing opposition party and killing PDP. All PDP governors are now defecting to APC. He's not trying to turn the country into a one-party state. And do you think that one day this military will not get tired and say, okay, it's time for us to carry out something that is bad? So military coup, according to Adama Gaye, will continue to be a reality in West Africa. And so we all know, like I said, the man who carried out the coup is Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri, you know, and he was supposed to lead the committee. But people are still surprised that economically the country was booming, and there's supposed to be an election in April. So why was there coup? There was coup because this man has killed all opposition and jailed many of the opposition leaders, and in the end he would have just installed a successor that will cover his crime, and then the country will continue to suppress any form of dissent, and in the end, what do you think will happen? The country will not become a one-party country. So that's why those people said no, it was time for them to come in. When you are eliminating opposition leaders, who would now come and oppose you? Because it's called opposition leader for a reason, you know. So coup, and you know, in that country, coup was very popular in the 70s. You know, coup, counter-coups, and all of that. Look at what is happening in Burkina Faso, you know, in some African countries, and these leaders are still taking people for granted. This is a wake-up call to all politicians, because in the end they should know, especially in Nigeria, that these military people are not fools. They are watching, they are not sleeping, and one day just one small thing will be destroyed that will break the camel's back, and then boom, it's gone. So I'll allow us to watch the video, and let me know your thoughts are in the comment section. If you've enjoyed this analysis so far, please try to like, subscribe, share this video, and comment. I mean your boy Ernest Omozogbe Adebayo Koje, reacting on socio-political events in and around Nigeria. Signing out. Peace.
Des Béninois, chers compatriotes, en ce jour, dimanche 7 décembre 2025, nous, forces de défense et de sécurité, après une réflexion bien mûrie et pour donner un repère à notre pays, avons décidé de prendre nos responsabilités suite aux multiples dérives du gouvernement de M. Patrice Talon. Il s'agit de, sur le plan sécuritaire, la dégradation continue de la situation sécuritaire au nord du Bénin, l'ignorance et la négligence de la situation de nos frères d'armes tombés au front et surtout celle de leurs familles abandonnées à leur triste sort par la politique de M. Patrice Talon, malgré les multiples promesses relayées en grande pompe sur les médias. Le comité militaire pour la refondation CMR a décidé 1. La constitution du novembre 2025 est suspendue. Toutes les institutions sont dissoutes. Les activités des partis politiques suspendues jusqu'à nouvel ordre. Les frontières terrestres, maritimes, aériennes du Bénin sont fermées jusqu'à nouvel ordre. La prise du pouvoir en ce moment traduit la ferme volonté du comité militaire de la refondation à mettre fin à l'exclusion de toutes les couches sociales de notre pays sans distinction aucune. Dans la suite de la transition et de restaurer la cohésion nationale, à la communauté internationale, le comité militaire de la refondation rassure que les engagements internationaux du Bénin ainsi que les droits humains seront respectés. Enfin, l'armée s'engage solennellement à donner au peuple béninois l'espoir d'une aube véritablement nouvelle où il règne la fraternité, la justice et le travail, symbole de notre unité nationale. Vive l'armée, vive la refondation de notre chère patrie, vive le Bénin, la République ou la mort, le peuple d'abord.